Welcome to The Life and Tragic Death of Mama Cass Elliot. Join us as we delve into the captivating journey of one of music's most iconic voices. From her soaring highs to her heartbreaking lows, we uncover the remarkable story behind Mama Cass Elliot, exploring her rise to fame and the challenges she faced along the way. So let's dive in. Mama Cass Elliot, born Ellen Naomi Cohen on September 19, 1941 in Baltimore, Maryland, in the United States. Raised in a family of Russian Jewish immigrants. Her father, Philip, found success with a lunch wagon business, while her mother, Bess, worked as a nurse. Despite financial strains, the family persevered. Elliot grew up with her brother Joseph and sister Leah, who also pursued careers in music. The family initially lived in Alexandria, Virginia, before relocating to Baltimore when Elliot was 15. Cass Elliot, originally named Ellen Cohen, adopted the name Cass in high school, possibly inspired by actress Peggy Cass, according to Denny Doherty. She later took on the surname Elliot, in memory of a deceased friend. While attending George Washington High School in Alexandria and later Forest Park High School in Baltimore, Elliot developed an interest in acting. She secured a small role in the play, The Boyfriend, during a summer stock production at the Hilltop Theater in Owings Mills, Maryland. Elliot left high school shortly before graduation to pursue her acting career in New York City. After leaving high school for New York to pursue entertainment, Elliot toured in The Music Man in 1962. She lost the part of Miss Marmelstein in I Can Get It For You Wholesale to Barbra Streisand. Initially singing at the Showplace in Greenwich Village, she seriously considered a singing career after moving to Washington, D.C. to attend American University. In the early 1960s, Cass Elliot joined Tim Rose and John Brown to form the folk group Triumvirate, later renamed the Big Three when James Hendrix replaced Brown in 1963. Their first recording, Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod, was released by FM Records that year. In 1964, they performed at the Bitter End in Greenwich Village as Cass Elliot and the Big Three, sharing the stage with folk singer Jim Fosso and bluegrass banjoist Eric Weisberg. In 1964, after Tim Rose left the Big Three, Cass Elliot and James Hendrix teamed up with Canadians Zal Yanofsky and Denny Doherty to form the Mugwumps. After 8 months, the Mugwumps disbanded. Cass briefly pursued a solo career while Yanofsky and John Sebastian formed the Lovin' Spoonful and Doherty joined the New Journeymen with John and Michelle Phillips. In 1965, Doherty convinced Phillips to invite Elliot to join the group while vacationing in the Virgin Islands. Legend has it that Cass Elliot's vocal range expanded by 3 notes after being hit on the head by copper tubing while walking through a construction site behind a bar where the New Journeymen performed in the Virgin Islands. Elliot confirmed the incident in a 1968 Rolling Stone interview. Some friends suggested the pipe story served as a less embarrassing reason for John Phillips' reluctance to include her in the group, as he considered her too overweight. The New Journeymen, featuring 2 female members, needed a new name and became known as the Mamas and the Papas from 1965 to 1968. Doherty credits Elliot with inspiring the band's new name, also noting it marked the beginning of his affair with Michelle Phillips. Elliot harbored feelings for Doherty and was upset when he disclosed the affair. Doherty recalls Elliot proposing to him once, but he was too intoxicated to respond at the time. Known for her humor and optimism, Elliot was considered the most charismatic member of the group, contributing her powerful voice to their hits like California Dreamin', Monday Monday, and Words of Love. She also delivered the solo, Dream a Little Dream of Me, recorded in 1968 after the death of Fabian Andre, one of its co-writers. Elliot's rendition differed with its contemplative pace compared to earlier, up-tempo versions. The Mamas and the Papas recorded until 1971 to fulfill their record contract. After the Mamas and the Papas disbanded, Elliot pursued a solo singing career. Her standout recording during this time was Dream a Little Dream of Me, from her 1968 solo album of the same name, which initially was released on the Papas and the Mamas album by the Mamas and the Papas. Cass Elliot made her live solo debut headlining in Las Vegas at Caesars Palace in October 1968, booked for a 3-week engagement at $40,000 per week with 2 shows per night. Despite undergoing a 6-month crash diet and losing 100 pounds, she developed a stomach ulcer and throat issues due to the extreme regimen. Confined to bed for 3 weeks before the first performance, Elliot struggled during rehearsals, battling a fever and voice loss. Despite celebrity attendees like Sammy Davis Jr. and Jimi Hendrix, her performance was disastrous, and the second show that evening even worse, leading to scathing reviews and comparisons to the Titanic disaster. Rumors of drug use surfaced shortly after Cass Elliot's Las Vegas concert. According to Eddie Fiegel's biography, Elliot confessed to using heroin before the performance to a boyfriend. The debacle left her deeply embarrassed and spiraled her into a severe depression. Cass Elliot was a frequent presence on television in the early 1970s, appearing in specials like the Mama Cass television program and Don't Call Me Mama Anymore. She guest starred on various talk shows and variety programs such as The Mike Douglas Show, The Andy Williams Show, and The Carol Burnett Show. Elliot also performed on the music scene and co-hosted the Midnight Special. In film, she sang The Good Times Are Comin' in the 1970 movie Monty Walsh. Additionally, Elliot signed with RCA Records in 1970, releasing her first album, Cass Elliot, in January 1972. In 1973, Cass Elliot diversified her career, appearing in Saga of Sonora, a TV special, and recording jingles for Hardee's advertisements. She also continued her acting pursuits, featuring in Puss Stuff in 1970 and making guest appearances on various TV shows. That year, she enlisted Alan Carr as her manager, who was also managing the careers of Tony Curtis, Anne Margaret, and Peter Sellers. Carr transitioned Elliot into the cabaret scene with the show Don't Call Me Mama Anymore. Premiering in Pittsburgh, the show marked Elliot's departure from her Mama Cass persona. Her Las Vegas debut received glowing reviews, signaling a successful shift in her career trajectory. Cass Elliot's personal life involved 2 marriages. Her first, in 1963, was to James Hendricks, but it was annulled in 1968, never consummated, and largely a marriage of convenience to help him avoid the Vietnam War draft. In 1971, she married journalist Donald von Wiedenmann, which ended in divorce after a brief period. Elliot had a daughter, Owen Vanessa Elliot, on April 26, 1967, whose biological father was Chuck Day, revealed only after Elliot's death. Owen was raised by Elliot's sister, Leah Kunkel, and her husband, Russ Kunkel, after Elliot's passing. As for drug use, Elliot's life was the subject of rumors and speculation, but definitive information is limited. Musician David Crosby published a memoir in 1988 that he and Elliot had used opiates and cocaine together previously. On April 22, 1974, Cass Elliot collapsed in the California television studio of The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson just before her scheduled appearance. After receiving treatment at a hospital, she was released, later attributing the incident to simple exhaustion in interviews. On July 27, 1974, Cass Elliot completed a 2-week run of solo concerts at the London Palladium before joining a 24-hour celebration. She began by attending Mick Jagger's 31st birthday party at his Chelsea home. Later, she was honored at a brunch hosted by Georgia Brown, where she displayed signs of illness, including frequent nose-blowing and difficulty breathing. Subsequently, she attended a cocktail party thrown by entertainment journalist Jack Martin, where despite appearing exhausted, she remained in good spirits. Elliot departed the party around 8 p.m., citing fatigue and the need for rest. Cass Elliot retired to an apartment in Mayfair at Flat 12, 9 Curzon Place, later named Curzon Square, Shepherd Market, Mayfair in London, owned by singer-songwriter Harry Nilsson, who allowed her to stay there. Several hours after leaving Jack Martin's cocktail party, she passed away in her sleep at age 32. Contrary to popular belief that Elliot had passed by choking on a sandwich, Keith Simpson, who conducted her autopsy, confirmed she had died of a heart attack, with no drugs found in her system. 4 years later, The Who's drummer Keith Moon died in the same bedroom, also at 32 years old. Elliot's body was cremated at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles, California, and her ashes were later interred at Mount Sinai Memorial Park Cemetery in Los Angeles. And there you have it. Thank you for joining us on this emotional journey through the life of Mama Cass Elliot. Her legacy as a trailblazing artist and her unforgettable contributions to the music industry will continue to inspire generations to come. Remember to like and subscribe for more compelling stories of music legends. Take care and bye for now.